All right, what's going on, Giants fans? Doing a film breakdown of the Giants' new free agent addition running back, Devontae Booker from the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost call them the LA Raiders. I'm trying to overcompensate for the Oakland Raiders. Anyways, like and subscribe. We're doing film breakdowns of every single Giants free agent. Booker is the first one, so he'll be the first one that we do. Booker is a very north and south type running back. He's going to get upfield. He's going to find where those yards are going to be, and he's going to get upfield. Now, he's not going to dance behind the line of scrimmage. He's not going to try and bust the big play, even though him doing his job leads to some big plays for him, which we'll start off with. In fact, my co-host Justin Pennick looked up. He spent the least amount of time behind the line of scrimmage in the NFL for any running backs. Wayne Gallman was third. Booker was first, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's what the Giants were looking for. I think he's got good contact balance, where he's going to fall forward, and arm tackles aren't going to bring him down. Good vision to where you'll see when the cutback's there, he finds it early. So Booker, let's get into it. Got a good amount of plays we're going to go through. We're going to go through his blocking a little bit too. Devontae Booker. So first play. This ends up being a touchdown. Gets the read. Now this is an easy read for him. You got this tight end blocking here, but he doesn't dance. Plays it close. It's coming right off of these guys' asses. That's what you want to do. Right off of them. Trusting your blockers. If he widens that out, if he runs this out here, 91's probably making that tackle. Now, he doesn't have the greatest speed in the world, but he gets in there. Another touchdown here. Two hands on the ball. 45, kind of a piss poor effort at a tackle. Get through a touchdown. So that's not vision, nothing. That's just, getting through the hole and hitting it hard. Not dancing. Like he's got this guy in the hole right here. A lot of guys are bouncing. They're sitting back here, and this turns into a 0-yard gain. He just runs through it. Bad tackle effort, touchdown. Here you'll see a nice cutback. Catches that handoff. 94 is in his lap. 31's playing the outside gap. He's got nowhere to go. Realizes that he has to cut back. Bam. Right off these guys' asses. Right off of them. Wasting no space. Not allowing this guy to get back in. Not overthinking it. Not stopping here and dancing. Bam. Good agility. Bam. Go. 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 And then he fumbles. His only fumble of the year, but still, that's one too many. Gets outside the tackle on this one. Bam. Wasting no time getting around that edge. Again, you're rarely going to see him try and juke a guy. It's basically just running, running at full speed and using stiff arms. McCourty taking advantage of bad tackling efforts. This play kind of has this, but he sees it setting up. He sees his tight end on the backside, Witten washing it. Plays it smooth. Gets horizontal. Bam. Upfield. Plays through the contact. Gets an extra 4 yards out of it. Makes that contact here. Bam. Gets an extra 7 yards out of it, not 4. This is good blocking. But still, he's got to have the speed to get around the corner. But this one, I wanted to put in there because it is a touchdown. But this is just really good blocking by these two guys, so give them credit. But good job on him, not outrunning his players. And a touchdown for the kid. Same thing here. Good blocking. But good patience, too. Like I said, not outrunning his blocker. Staying on him, staying on that outside shoulder. Hudson does an awesome job. Big play. Big play. Next, we're going to go through some of the more intermediate runs. You know, the runs that are going to get you 2 to 6 yards. Again, patience. Not outrunning his pullers. Play on his outside hip. He's pushing him. He's like, come on, let's go. Now, you could say that he could bounce this out maybe and get a big play, but that's not what he is. Similar to Wayne Gallman, that's not what he is. That he's going to let his guy make that block. Just cut up inside of it. And get an extra 5 yards. And I think that's what the Giants are looking for in their backup running back spot. I think he gets a little too excited on this play. If he just plays this outside of Witten, he doesn't have to bump into him and do this hop step. And he could get upfield a little quicker. If he doesn't do that, he's running through it at this point right here instead of having to dance around Witten. But I think it's that whole mindset of him wanting to get as many yards as possible. So I think he's expecting this guy to play outside of Witten, and he wants to cut it up. But credit to the defender who plays it pretty well, and then the rest of the defense to come and rally. Again, he's going to get upfield, get those yards. You got the puller. Doesn't have a guy to kick out. Instead of trying to bounce this out like a lot of running backs would. A lot of running backs at this point are trying to bounce this out. They see this green grass, they're trying to bounce this out. Booker. Bam. I got some space. I'm going to get as many yards as I possibly can. Turns into a 7-yard gain. Got inside zone. Manned up. You see, you got out here. Again, a lot of running backs see this, and they're trying to get through this area. His vision is, where can I get my 4 or 5 yards? And on this play, it's between the tight end and the right tackle. And again, I truly do think that's what the Giants are looking for in their backup. They saw the success they had with Gallman. That's what they're looking for. Follows the puller. Pile forward. Gets skinny through this hole. Again, you got 50, Clark here. This is a jumbled up mess. And maybe you have him follow 71, but he just goes up and gets his yards. Good burst on this one. This is good blocking too. Get your yards. Get your yards. Now, this is an issue Wayne Gallman had too. Maybe not so much an issue, but on these type of plays, follow these dudes. Follow these dudes around here. Take a chance on breaking one tackle. You're so worried about getting those 4 or 5 yards, so he cuts back into Ingram, and then has a 0 yard gain. Should have been a 2-yard loss, but he gets that extra couple yards. If he just goes, he's got it. Is this guy going to get off this block eventually? But Aguilar does a decent enough job. Trust your speed. He's got enough speed to get around in that corner. And this is where that kind of stuff pays off, though. this is where that stuff pays off. Because if you look at it like the same way and you're trying to get outside on here, if you're trying to run outside on here, well, this guy doesn't do a great job on the block. So he's up here, he plays on the outside, and then you lose yards. And on this play, instead of that happening, because he is trying to get upfield, full speed, bam, get 5-6 yards out of it. Just got that hole. Get my yards. Give me my yards. That's just a big hole. He kind of just pinball through it a little bit. But he's got good balance. Like I said, these diving tackles aren't going to get it done versus him. Good vision on this one. Again, a lot of guys are trying to bounce it, get through here. They see that hole, that green grass, not knowing that Perriman's going to be here and fill this hole. Bam. Cuts it up. And so you get yourself a nice 8-yard gain. Again, just getting the possible yards, not trying to make anything crazy. Finding that hole, and when you got contact, moving your feet, moving forward, falling forward, getting the extra couple yards out of it. And then next, people said he's a good receiver. I think he's an okay receiver. I didn't see anything special, though, but I did, I pulled up a screen, and then here you got him lined up out wide. Again, I don't view this as him. Good catch and way to fight through the contact and get extra yards out of it. But I don't think he's that much of a dynamic of a receiver. I don't. He's capable. But I don't view him as like a receiving threat. Like I would never give him a receiving rep, a planned rep over Saquon Barkley. Now I know Saquon's on a different level than anybody, but I would never like Dion Lewis is a receiving running back. He's running routes, he's catching passes over his shoulder. I don't see Booker as that guy. Here you got a screen, follows his blockers, gets yards out of it. Again, I don't see a dynamic receiver, but I want to put those two plays in here. Now let's look at him as a blocker. Pretty solid blocker. I only went through like 10 blocking reps. It's hard to find blocking reps for a backup running back. But you got him here. Cuts through. It's hard to see with this view, but he does a good job on it. Good one here. Good awareness to figure out where it's coming from. Bam, picks up that safety. That's the difference. His blocking right there is the difference between a sack or a QB hit. 33 is coming in there at full speed. Bam, gets low, puts the shoulder into him. Nice block. Helping out with the guard here. Doesn't necessarily have an assignment that needs to pick up. Helps out his guy. Well, that was old Nathan Peterman to get a few yards on the ground. Again, you got 32 coming off the edge. What I do like is that he's forcing the guy to go outside too. Like even if he wins that, he's going to have to run around him. Here was the bad one I found. He hugs him. He could have got called for holding. In fact, I think they called the defense for holding on this. A bad call by the ref. Don't hug. Don't put your arms around him. Put your hands inside his chest. So he should have got called for holding on that one. This one's not great, but it's all right. Again, you're playing inside of the guy. Hit his inside shoulder. You at least have to force him to go outside where your QB can step up. Instead of he hits this outside shoulder and he clips him and then you got a sack on Carr. So he's a capable blocker. I don't view him as some amazing blocker. So all in all, Devontae Booker, we gave a lot of opinions on the contract on the podcast. That's what the podcast is for. But player-wise, I view him very similar and maybe a better fit as their backup running back to Saquon Barkley than Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman has just never worked out as a spellback. He's averaged 3.5 yards per carry in 2018 and 19 combined. You give him volume, he's all right, but you're just not going to get that volume with Saquon on the team. So I like Booker. I have some other thoughts on the signing, but Devontae Booker, man, welcome to the New York Giants. I hope you do well. I hope we don't have to use you a ton because I hope we just ride Saquon ride. So appreciate you guys again. If you like this stuff, like, subscribe. There's going to be more of it. A bunch of draft stuff. Got a bunch of draft stuff in the drafts, waiting for free agency to slow down a little bit. So appreciate you guys. Let's go Big Blue.